Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. As you might have seen, we got our Cliff Lett RC10T in and been stacking up some parts for a little bit to get them in there. So when it arrived, we were able to get this tossed together pretty quick. So all done. I do have to glue the tires, but I still got to get electronics in it. But same electronic setup we always did. Protec servo. Probably using a Hobbywing G2 and then a 13.5 motor. Probably going to toss a Reedy in this so I can represent by tossing a Reedy decal on here, running Reedy batteries, and go that route. So the one thing I did do is I did ditch the stock body. We are using a J Concepts 93 slim body because it's kind of more... It's more comparable to like the Losi XXT. You know, the bodies are a little bit thinner. They're not as wide. So went with the thin body, and I'm glad I did that. I still, aesthetically, it's still not that pleasing when I look at the XXT. And from the research I found, the RC10T and the XXT probably only ran over each other for about a year. It sounds like September 94 to the September 95 until that's when the T2 came out. It sounds like the RC10T mainly battled the LXT from 91, 92-ish to about 94, and that's when Losi replaced it with the XXT. And like I said, 94 to 95 is kind of when these two ran into each other until the T2 was released. But anyway, we're gonna see. Can the RC10T keep up? Is the XXT all it's thought out to be? I guess we will find out. So obviously painted up our body, had that ready to go. Did a little work on some other things, you know, had our MIP CVDs ready to go because I don't know why a Cliff Lett would come with dog bones, but it did. When I thought it was actually coming with UJs, so yeah, whatever, associated. Anyway, we'll add some more stickers to that later. So what we did to our Cliff Lett, we did add the J Concepts turnbuckles, RPM arms, or, you know, turnbuckle ends. Did do a fan center link on the steering, which aligns it perfectly. And like I said, then that's a couple less components you need to worry about. Doing a B7 servo mount, doing a Dragon Punch LiPo holder, J Concepts graphite front and rear shock towers. Also did their front nose tubes up there as well. Obviously we have full bearings. The shocks are what I'm happy with, so these are actually really good with the bleeders and everything. I would love to buy a couple extra sets of these. The springs I'm not impressed with, but we'll find some springs to do what we got to do to make these competitive. We went with the stock kit setup, so number 1 pistons in the front, number 2s in the rear, 30 weight oil right around, all around, and we'll adjust from there. And we'll adjust ride height and everything once we get it weighted down and get some electronics in here. In the rear, we did do the, again, RPM ball cups, J Concepts turnbuckles. Did do the J Concepts honeycomb rear motor plate, even though the stock one actually comes cut down. We did the J Concepts for a little bling bling. And then the one other thing we did too is Associated Cells, a V2 upper Octalock kit for the older Associateds. So you can take your stealth transmission, you can upgrade it to an Octalock, and you can use Octalock spurs, which are widely available at your hobby store. And I mean, the transmission's super smooth on this. The other thing is, I mean, the diff's great. A little loose because I kind of leave them loose until I set them up so that there's no undue pressure on there. The only thing is the gear cover. I'm probably going to have to get an RPM gear cover because the stock gear cover doesn't work. Doesn't seem to work with the Octalock conversion. It seems like this sticks out too far. So we'll do a RPM cover on there, and I have a few of those, so I'll pull that probably off my fan just to make sure it works, and then get another one coming. But yeah, I am super happy. J Concepts wheels are great. So all I did is we run the MIP CVDs in the back, and so I basically enlarged the hole a little bit on the inside to get over the step. Would be nice if it was just 3/16. I know Factory Works does a 3/16 axle. David kind of messaged me that the other day, and I was like, I'm just modifying the wheels for now and going that route. But I will eventually have to do that. Didn't need the carbon fiber transmission brace because it came with the kit, which I'd rather they just do the plastic and actually get the right axles and stuff in here. The one thing I did do is I took and did the manual calls for 3 spacers on the outside. I put 1 on the outside and I put 2 on the inside, and we are at the bleeding edge of our droop. So, and that's including the 2 droop limiters that comes with the kit. So we may limit that just a little bit more. I may put 1 in there. We'll see. But yeah, the RC10T is done and turned out well. The only thing I do have to do is I do have to countersink this one screw on the bottom to get that to flush out. Why Associated continues to not address that, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so RC10T is good to go. Got to get some electronics in there and hopefully maybe have this ready for the 19th vintage race. I know we're going to try to race trucks this weekend, so the double XT is going to go out there, and they just changed the track a little bit too. So I'm actually glad we're racing this weekend because the times wouldn't have been comparable. So we will get the double XT out there and get the RC10T out perhaps next weekend, because I'm going to probably buy. I have a servo, I have the link, I have everything there. Obviously, I have a battery. I just need to get a motor and the ESC, so I'm hoping more has some in stock. And we can get this thing set up. And then glue the wheels, obviously, but that's fairly easy. So we'll get those glued up and on there. We'll have to look. I haven't even checked like the toe on anything. I kind of just eyeballed it, but it's fairly close. I think the only thing... Shit, I don't even know if I really have to change anything. I may run it and just see where tire wear is and go from there. So, yeah, the quality is not that great. The plastic kind of feels funny. I don't know if that makes sense. And it's like the transmission case, it's maybe hard to see on camera, but this is white and this has a little green tinge to it. Same, and the color doesn't bother me. What bothers me is the shit is like loose. So all the carriers and stuff have they have some slop in them that they just shouldn't have for a new kit. I mean, hell, our 35-year-old Losies or 30-year-old Losies are tighter tolerance than a new Associated kit, apparently. So I am gonna take these off and do some different spacers. At least get some spacers in there to get that fixed so they're not as loose on the front end. The steering I tightened up by doing the famous O-ring trick. So everything's got O-rings underneath it, basically, except the 2 outers. Where we need some pivot there, but we will leave it like that and call it good. But that is the Cliff Lett RC10T. And like I said, we'll pour some more stickers on our body and get some other things done, but did get it all together and ready to rock. So just need our electronics. And like I said, I think the upgrade kit for the Octalock slippers is well worth it. Then you can get common slippers. That'll work, right? And can handle a little bit more of the power. We will probably change our slipper out to an 11 millimeter R1 carbon fiber pad set. So when they come with a 19 millimeter, which is a smaller surface area. We want to go to a bigger surface area and get that in there, especially with a 13.5 drivetrain. So we'll do the carbon R1 slipper pads. I'll get some of those ordered because almost everything we have is Octalocked out except our B3, which we will order another top shaft kit and get that in the B3 as well. So everything's Octalock, and then I just have one set of spurs for all the Associated stuff. I'm going to try to retrofit the Tamiya with an Octalock. I don't know how that'll work exactly. And I may do some fiddling around with the Losies, but we'll see on there. The Losies are all right for now, so we may leave them alone. But yeah, other than that, that's kind of everything we did. Like I said, I think it'll turn out pretty good. So we will work on that. And yeah, I'm not too worried. Steering is good. So we got all of our full throw and just got to line stuff up. So J Concepts turnbuckles are good quality. The RPM ball cups I'm not actually too impressed with. And if you notice on here, we had to use the shorts. You can't use the longs, at least with the J Concepts turnbuckles. There's just not enough room in them. So we had to do all the shorts. On all the ends, I was hoping to use the longer ones like we did on our Losies, because I think that's a lot more stout, gives you a lot more contact area between those, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that. And then our Cliff Lett is 07 something, 0792 it looks like. So less than 1,000. Not that that really matters, because limited edition is not so limited. So yeah, I'm more pumped for the Masami 89 coming out. We did pre-order that, but like I said, I did have an RC10T when I was a kid, and I thought it was a pretty cool truck, and I do want one in there, but the problem is the Double XT is a cooler truck. It looks better. I think it's going to be better, but we will let the timesheets tell that story. So, but it's kind of funny because, the Losi looks like flowing, and it's really the body. Like the body, on the RC10T looks like a brick, and everything is just flat planes, and that's it. Thank God I got the thin one so it doesn't look any worse. But compared to the Losi, man, the Losi looks a lot better. And we did kill a little comparison picture, and I could see, if you're an associated driver in 1994 and that Losi came out, you were jealous. I know you were. Don't tell me you weren't. So we will, is what it is. So we will go from there. But we did get our RC10T done. We will continue to work on this a little bit just to finish dialing it in with everything else that we got. So I think it's in pretty good shape. We'll get the right height adjusted. The biggest thing is probably trying to find some springs so we can do a little spring tuning on this, where I think, it'll be all right for now. We'll try to get away with like pistons and oil, but I would like to find some springs, and I'd probably be looking for some greens probably all around on this. And then we'll obviously finish decaling it up a little bit. So gotta make it look good, right? Because that's damn near more important than results, is looking good. It's not about being fast anymore. So again, we'll get some electronics in this. We should have our TRF shock set is in Denver, so it should be in Parker here by tomorrow. So we will upgrade the shocks on our Tamiya, which if we do that tomorrow, we may take that racing on Sunday, and if not, we may take something else. I don't know. And then the vintage race on the 19th, we're probably taking the Tamiya, and I think we're taking the Fan Graphite, and we're going to let those two battle it out. I'll let someone else, I'll see. I'll let someone drive one of them, and I'll drive the other, and then we'll get the Double XT out as well. But we're probably getting the Double XT out this weekend, because there is a call for short course out. It sounds like we'll see if anyone's brave enough to show up for that call out, but we'll see. But RC10T done on the channel. We'll get some electronics figured out, and in this, sure enough, we'll race the Double XT. We'll get that out to Nick. Our Motor Obscura plate is in Denver as well, so that comes tomorrow for my Double XT, which is a copy of Nick's Double XT, which was a copy of my original Double XT. It's a long story. There are some minor differences, and what I'll probably do is I'll do a comparison video, because I have an early Double XT, and I believe Nick has a later Double XT, or it's got some Double XT CR parts, I think, on it as well, which mine never had. So mine is more representational of the one I'm building. Nick's is kind of a hybrid, I think, between a Double XT. I think it started life out as a Double XT, and some Double XT CR parts got added because like my hubs are different, my rear arms are different, and the rear T-plate is different because mine's all molded, where Nick's was two pieces, which I think is the CR rear T-plate. Like I said, I don't know much about Losies other than what I remember as a kid in high school around 1992 to 96. So I believe Nick's got the later edition, and then mine was an earlier edition, and there are some differences. I'm going to keep my rear hubs and all that stuff. So anyway, look for some more content coming out. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later this week.